So when I experiences these different things, it thinks I am experiencing, and then we give it thought. You see, I'm experiencing this, and this is bad based on my past, or this is good based on my past. Do you see? So we make judgments upon it, and we develop our personality, our character, our whole viewpoint of life based on what we think from what we are aware of. Are you with me? There's a vast difference between awareness and thought. But what makes the whole suffering is not knowing the difference between the two. So we were talking about one radio, right? And it's receiving. And what it's receiving is not inside the radio. It's receiving it from waves. Radio waves. Now what if we had 100 radios? Would they all, if they're tuned into the same station, you all hear the same thing? Right. We'll all hear the same station. Why? Because it is the same station. And then if you turn it to another station, you get different waves and you hear different sounds. So you tune in. So how many sounds are there in the ether? You see, in this vast space, it's innumerable. It's too extensive. So we are like a radio. We tune in to this I. But the difference between the radio and us is this, that you in your natural state is this I. Got it? You are this I when you tune in, because you're tuning in to the very cosmic that has created this incredible soup, this conglomeration of waves and patterns and particles and matter that came from it. Another one is, for example, the cellular phone. Okay, we take it for granted. Now when you talk on the cell phone, you have a signal. What is the signal? Okay, 1, 2, 3, the numbers, right? So now the numbers that you dial are a particular and very specific trigger, a signal that only that person who has that number will receive it. But when you dial the number, what is happening? It's a signal, right? And that signal is a wave that reaches that phone and makes it ring. The person that you're calling. You see how beautiful that is? But all that is happening in this cosmic soup. It's all happening there. And it's all coming from this energy of I. Everything is happening within it. But what happens, what we call the cosmic soup, it's all thought. Because it's a movement that's coming from awareness. Awareness just is. Okay? It's eternal, it's beginningless, endless. And from it comes this movement and this action. Now, whenever you say I, the first thing you feel and think is me, right? Okay, that's called suffering. That's called pain. That's called unawareness. But when you begin to realize that I is the cosmic that is creating all this, imagine how grand you are. This is fact. I'm not creating a fantasy. Most of you who are aware here know this, of course. But the point is to feel it and to be able to live from it. This I that you are is the very miracle. Now, when Jesus walked the earth, what happened? He realized that he is this I. So he said, I am the truth, the way, and the life. And of course, Christians misinterpreted that because they thought, oh, he's the only one. You see what I mean? Buddha said the same, Krishna said the same. You see? So in truth, you are the way, the truth, and the life, because you are that very I am. The totality of all that is. You see? And everything that appears is coming from that. But what makes you unique, what makes you called a soul, is that you have thoughts, a unique expression of that I am. And so whatever and how you interpret that I am is what makes you a unique expression, but never a separate individual. That is the difference. So you are a unique expression of the totality of that I am, but never separate, any more than the radios are separate when they tune into the same station, you see? So, we're understanding that? Okay, what I'd like to do, because we did the same thing last Thursday, and from the conversations that we've had, I felt that it still wasn't clear what attention really is. Not what you're paying attention to. Attention itself. Okay, which is pure awareness. So, I came up with a few questions, and I'd like all of us to explore. But before we get going, could you tell me if you understand the difference between thought and awareness? And we're always confusing the two. And let me say something else too. That all the questions, all the spiritual questions that we hear, all of them, are a misunderstanding of the difference between thought and awareness. All of them. So whenever you come up with a question, which is great if you ask it, is always leading you back to know the difference between thought and awareness. Once you know the difference, you'll also realize that they complement each other. Now you might say, how can a total opposite complement each other? Just like black and white, just like male and female, just like two sides of the same coin, head and tails. They're totally opposite. But they're yet one coin, okay? So thought and awareness are one. But it is the confusion between the two that makes us misunderstand and suffer needlessly. Okay, so can somebody tell me how do you, yeah?
For me, the thought would be the extension from awareness.
Okay.
You have to start from something, and I would think that awareness would be the start, and the expression of awareness is going through thought, which then creates the matter for form.
Okay. So, in order for us to think, there has to be awareness.
Yes.
Yeah, right. It's not possible to think without awareness.
Exactly.
Because you see what happens when a thought comes into you, which is, of course, is happening to about 25,000 a day, according to Deepak Chopra, or 26,000, give or take a few. You make these thoughts, we make these thoughts not a thought, we make it reality. And so the moment you believe a thought, it becomes a feeling, you see? Incidentally, that's what emotional feeling is. It's making a thought real without realizing it's a thought. And so the moment you make it real, immediately the body responds to that. Because the power of belief is so immense that your whole structure, your whole body, everything about you, your whole mind-body connection is made up of belief. You see? Byron Katie said something so interesting, mind-boggling. You know, she was talking about cancer. And she said, cancer, we learn about it and we believe in it. First we believe that we have cancer, and the doctor tells us that it's very serious, and so we believe it. And the moment you believe it, then you go about trying to get rid of it, not realizing that everything that happens to you was first a belief in it. And that's what brought its reality. You see? Everything that we experience in life, it is because somebody or someone has told us about it. And then it became real. You see? But do you know that nothing is real except the knowing of who you are? But the moment you begin to think that you are a material form, subject to everything, then you begin to suffer automatically. from your belief structure. You see? And so the belief structure